Thanks very much, Paul, and a very good morning to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talk Sport overnight. Ian Danter and Perry Groves on the night shift. We're like the Commodores, me and Pill. And we're going to bring you another game from the Club World Cup where Manchester City are looking to cement a place in the round of 16. 3 points tonight will do that against Al Ain, the side from the UAE. They qualified for this tournament by winning the 2023-24 AFC Champions League. It's their second Club World Cup. Al Ain, they lost the final in 2018 to Real Madrid in Abu Dhabi. And Real Madrid are the team that lurks on the horizon for the team, it would appear, that finishes second in this Group G that Manchester City, Juventus, Wydad and Al Ain are playing in. Manchester City are going to be playing in their change strip tonight of the white with the red and black sash going from right shoulder to left hip. Al Ain in their all turquoise strip, and they get us underway on Talk Sport, kicking from right to left as we look. And let's see whether Manchester City can make as quick a start in Atlanta tonight as they did in Philadelphia just a few days ago, where they were 1-0 up inside 2 minutes against Wydad. Early touch on the right hand side for Manchester City for Kusanov, who looks to be playing at right back today. Ait Nouri out on the left hand side. Nunez playing quite a way forward on the right hand side. We're just sorting out the shape here, aren't we, Pell?
Yeah, I think it's three at the back for Man City. You said they got Kusanov on the right hand side of the three, Akanji in the middle, Gvardiol on the left hand side, with Ait Nouri, which will play as like a left wing back, which he played for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Played it to a great effect when he was at Wolves. This is his competitive debut for Manchester City tonight. Ryan Ait Nouri, and he's making a run down the left hand side. He's been spotted by Gvardiol, holds the ball up, but he's being dispossessed and harried back towards the halfway line by Adis Jasic, but it comes back to the halfway line, and Kusanov will tuck it out to Nunez on the right hand side of the midfield for Manchester City. Kusanov again finds Akanji, the Swiss, in the centre circle. Gvardiol just to his left, looks early to clip the ball down the left hand side of the box, but it's overhit and it will go behind for a goal kick to Al Ain, and it's 0-0 with nearly 2 minutes gone on Talk Sport.
Yeah, it's just Echeverri just making that little run in the inside left position, so they're going to be very, very fluid. I think it'll probably be Nico Gonzalez will be the one midfield player, that stays a little bit deeper. Gundogan looks like he's going to go on, so that inside left position. Man City just executing the high press,
and they win the ball back on halfway, and then they give it away, and a chance for Al Ain to break. The flag has stayed down for the moment. Out comes Edison and clears the ball against the striker Rahimi, and then the flag goes up belatedly. It did look that Sofiane Rahimi was offside as the ball was played over the top, but Edison wasn't to know that and was out smartly. 0-0.
Right, Dance, I know that they've been told obviously to let it go into phase 2, phase 3, but somebody could have got injured there. Rahimi goes through obviously with Ortega, which is a good starting position. He comes out, we could tell that was a good yard and a half offside straight away.
Yeah.
So surely the assistant on the far side has got to use a little bit of common sense.
I called him Edison as well, didn't I? There's the mistake out of the way nice and early. 3 minutes gone. Manchester City 0, Al Ain 0. Manuel Akanji once again has the ball at feet in the centre circle. Drifts into the Al Ain half. Clips it out via a deflection to the right hand side of Nunez. Bernardo Silva drifts inside a couple of players, but I think he handled the ball as he was making his way in between defenders. So a free kick to Al Ain in their left back position, 0-0.
Yeah, just see there, Bernardo Silva just trying to cut inside. Rabia, so just flicks up, gets it on his hand. There's Vladimir Ivic, the Al Ain coach you've mentioned before, Dance. He was at Watford. You know, he got the sack at Watford and they were 5th in the Championship.
They'd take that now. They certainly would have taken that last season. He's won 5 out of 13 at Al Ain since being appointed in February. had 6 months at Watford in 2020.
Well, this is a very average Al-Ain side. You mentioned, Dance, before they got in it because obviously they won their equivalent of the Champions League in 2003-2004.
Yeah.
But the season just finished. They've come 5th
Yeah, didn't do too well.
in 14 teams, and they're the most successful UAE team in history.
Chance for them to come forward with Rahimi though here. Left-hand corner of the penalty area. Rahimi up against Kusanov, but he bundles him to the ground, and the referee, Mustafa Bobal, says that's a free kick to Manchester City. 4.5 gone on TalkSport in the Club World Cup. Remember earlier yesterday in this group, Juventus beat Wydad of Casablanca by 4-1 to make that 9 goals scored and just 1 conceded for the Bianconeri. So Manchester City mindful before they play Juve on Thursday that they could do with a few goals here just to make that goal difference tally a little more competitive.
Where you see Al-Ain straight away when they're out of position, they just go into a 5-4-1 shape.
They are certainly back in their own defensive third as Akanji drills the ball out to the left-hand side, looking for Aït-Nouri, but he slipped as he tried to check and turn back to receive the ball, and it's out of play for a throw.
You can tell Aït-Nouri's obviously a new signing because he's had his hair completely shaved. When you honestly, Dance, when you go into a new club, you actually think, I'm just going to go in under the radar. I can remember when I signed for Arsenal Colts, I had the big ginger mullet.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a David Crockett hat, and I thought, I can't turn up loose like that, so I just had to go. Because you don't want to give your new teammates any ammunition to, like...
I've known managers who banned long hair completely at their clubs.
We've seen Rico Lewis as well, obviously
He did, yeah.
Hair all shaved off.
Almost a break for Al-Ain as Mohamed Al-Balouchi tried to break past Kusanov, but again there was a slight push on Kusanov, but he went to ground very, very easily, Kusanov, and Al-Balouchi wagged his finger at the referee and was lucky to escape a yellow card there for Al-Ain. 0-0.
Yeah, it's all just been a little bit sloppy from Man City in possession. Even there, Kusanov getting the ball, trying to roll it out to Gvardio on the left-hand side, just actually puts it behind him, and then that enables Al-Ain to get another 10 yards up the pitch. And you did the Wydad game, Dan, didn't you? And Man City looked a little bit sloppy at the back as well.
They did, and they conceded opportunities which Wydad really didn't take at all well. 0-0. Manchester City attacking down the left-hand side. It's with the new signing Aït-Nouri. Tries to turn inside Jasic. Goes to the ground, but gets to his feet quickly. Inside the area, pulls it back. El-Balouchi can't get it clear. In-run Manchester City players trying to get the shot away. Echeverri got the final drive that was blocked behind for the first corner of the game to Pep Guardiola's men. 7 gone, 0-0.
Good play from Aït-Nouri down that left-hand side. But if you're Erling Haaland, do you want Aït-Nouri to whip that ball in straight away when it's on his left foot rather than checking back? Again, that gives the Al-Ain back 5 a chance just to move out a yard, where if he whips it in first time, then Erling Haaland can come in on the blind side. But as you said there, in the end they recycled it quite well, the first corner.
And the new club captain of Manchester City, Bernardo Silva, is set to take it. A left-footed in-swinger to come from the skipper. It's a lot of jostling for position inside the 6-yard box. Here comes the corner from Bernardo Silva, left-footed in-swinger into the near post, headed out to the edge of the box. Gundogan chips it back to the far post, and it drops in at the far post. İlkay Gundogan gives Manchester City the lead. I'm not sure whether he entirely meant that. He picks up the loose ball on the left-hand side of the area, chipped it back towards the far post, but he caught the goalkeeper Issa unawares. It drifted over his head and nestled in the far corner for Manchester City 1, Al-Ain 0.
Yeah, it comes out to Gundogan just easily, skips by Rabia, who should be getting a block on it, goes to him too quickly, and you can see that Gundogan there, Dance, he needs a bit of choke on his boot because I think he's tried to just ease that onto the far post for Erling Haaland, but what's happened there, it's just come on the outside of his left foot, give Issa absolutely no chance whatsoever, just nestles in the far corner in the side netting. I'm just looking at Issa, that is such bad goalkeeping, Dance, because he hasn't moved his feet. It's like someone's nailed both of his boots to the goal line. That is just really poor goalkeeping.
He didn't react until the ball was practically right over his head before he decided he was going to try and make a save. So İlkay Gündoğan, a player who may or may not be surplus to requirements. Galatasaray are thought to be in for a summer move for the man who was, let's not forget, Pep Guardiola's first ever signing at Manchester City. Came back for a second spell. It's his fourth goal in his second spell, and as with the Wydad game, it's not taken Manchester City long to hit the front. 1-0, 9 minutes gone on TalkSport.
And just talking about the goalkeeper, Issa, when the first looks, you thought he was probably 2 or 3 yards off his line. That was like when you play in the old days at under 10, under 11 level, you go onto the big pitch and they've got a little goalkeeper and you can't reach the crossbar, and you think, well, just keep shooting from about 25, 30 yards. It's just really, really poor feet movement from Issa.
Caught out without question with what Gündoğan achieved. 10 minutes gone and it's 1-0 already, and Gvardiol drives the ball looking for Nunez down the right hand side of the area, but it's overhit, and so the side from the UAE get a goal kick. Whilst Pep Guardiola still looks rather pensive on the touchline, his team are at least in front.
He'll be actually a little bit disappointed, Dance, because obviously he played 10 minutes.
And here they are again in the area with Echeverri looking for Haaland with a header at the far post. Brilliant headed clearance to keep it away from him by Amadou Niang, because it looked for all the world that Haaland was going to be free at the far post, but good defending from Al Ain and a free kick given in the end. 1-0 City.
Brave defending from Amadou Niang, because he knows that Erling Haaland is coming in on his blind side and there's going to be a collision. He makes sure he just follows the flight of the ball, gets the head to it first. Really unlucky from Echeverri, just on the edge of the 18-yard box. First look was for Erling Haaland, just trying to dink it to the far post.
And Al Ain really struggling to get the ball out their own defensive third. Nunez now moving down the right for Manchester City. He loses out. That's good skill from Al Balouchi in midfield. It's chipped up towards the halfway line, but Manchester City can let it drift out of play for a throw that is taken quickly by Manuel Akanji as he gets an earful from his manager as he's taking the throw right next to him.
Yeah, I just think, as I said, he'd want Man City just to be a little bit crisper in possession, so there's been a few passes gone astray, so then you can't get into the rhythm. Just looking at Erling Haaland, it's economy of movement, isn't it, from Erling Haaland? Obviously he's playing against 3 centre-halves and he's not really bothered about getting involved in all of the build-up play. He's just looking to his midfield players and his wide players, especially obviously Ait Nouri on the left-hand side and then Nunez on the right-hand side. He'll just want them to get crosses into the box.
Thoughts of Perry Groves, former Arsenal title winner, with me, Ian Danter, on TalkSport. Manchester City a goal to the good with 12 and a half minutes gone, but a chance for Al Ain to break down the right hand side. It's Nassim Chadli making a good strong run actually. He's got Rahimi waiting for a cross. It's played across the face of goal, and Rahimi just chose the wrong option. Went near post when if he just stayed toward the far post, he might have got a simple touch on that to tuck it away.
Really good play from Chadli on that right hand side. Again, we just see that little bit of sloppiness from Man City defensively. 2 players engage him, no one goes and gets a tackle him, and they was across 6-yard box. Said there, Dance, Rahimi should be going to near post and check him, and just standing between the posts, he gets the tackle.
There was an almost identical situation I seem to remember in the Wydad game, where a ball ended up going across the face of goal and nobody from the Moroccan side could tuck it away. You're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Just sign up at dazn.com. Ball's in possession with Josko Gvardiol. Infield to Manuel Akanji, one of 3 Manchester City centre-halves. He's the third, Kusanov in possession, who came in January. Now Nico Gonzalez under a bit of pressure, and he's been dispossessed. Chance now for Al Ain to come forward. It's Nasser Chadli with a right-footed shot. Ortega got hands to it, and stopped Nassim Chadli, equalising for Al Ain, as suddenly City were guilty of giving up possession. Suddenly there was a break on. Nassim Chadli was sent into the area, and the right-footed shot saw Ortega palm it wide for a corner. He had to make that save, otherwise it was 1-1.
Again, we said about the sloppiness of Man City in possession. Gonzalez getting himself caught in possession. Then Chadli released on that right-hand side. Hits his right foot shot across. Really good save from Ortega.
So the corner kick is whipped in by Jasic to the far post. Comes out to the edge of the area. Little dink up to the edge of the box, but City have numbers back and bring it away. Bernardo Silva just held up shy of the halfway line and ends up sending the ball all the way back to his keeper Ortega. There's a City player who is down and writhing about on the turf at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta. Just trying to see who it is. I think it's Echeverri, who's claiming he's been clattered into, but he was fouled by Yahia Nada. Just caught on the muscle as they both went to ground. Nothing intentional in it. 1-0 Man
I think
City.
he might have been caught somewhere else as well, to be fair. I think there was a smash and grab, I think.
He's got to count him, has he?
Yeah, the unmentionables.
So it will eventually be a free kick. You're listening to Talk Sport. Live football in the middle of the night. How's about that? Don't forget, Sam Allard will be here with early sports breakfast at 5, and then Talk Sport breakfast at 6. Shabana Hearn and Troy Deeney in the chair this morning, and then you'll have White and Jordan from 10 with Martin O'Neill, their studio guest of a Monday. We're just seeing a replay of Gundogan's goal, and
he'll say he meant it, but
he'll say he meant it, but I think he knew that Haaland was ghosting in at the far post and was probably looking for him. But lovely moment for one of Pep Guardiola's most important players down the years. I mentioned he was Pep's first signing in his first spell at Manchester City. Went off to Barcelona, didn't quite work out for him at the Camp Nou, so he came back, and I wonder whether Galatasaray will spirit him away, because there's a number of Manchester City players. You're missing none of the action here as Echeverri gets treatment. We were looking at the names of the Manchester City players who may or may not be surplus to requirements, Perry, with Pep Guardiola talking about the fact that he can't have a squad of 27 players. He just can't keep everyone happy.
No, you can't have players, we used to call them the cabbages, just training on another field, like with the sheep and all the cows or whatever. Chelsea had it, didn't they, at the beginning of last season, where Enzo Maresca made it very clear players like Chilwell and Raheem Sterling had no future at the club. So there will be players. I think Gundogan will be one of those ones who does go out, because if you look at the options, obviously now he has that centre midfielder. Reinders has come in. Obviously Rodri's back fit now.
Yeah.
Then you've got Nico Gonzalez who's playing tonight.
Reinders was great. He was one of the real plus points for me.
His passing was very good, wasn't it? Very crisp. Want to look forward. We're just looking at Man City here. Apart from Echeverri, there's no threat in behind. Everything is lateral at the moment. Everything is front of Al Ain, and they make it very easy for that 5-4-1 shape, to get their distances. 17 minutes gone on Talk Sport in the Club World Cup. Manchester City 1-0 up on Al Ain. İlkay Gundogan with the goal. Here is Echeverri, who's recovered from the whack amidships. Kusanov, midway point of the Al Ain half, works it out to Nunez on the near side, the right, but he's at least 2 Al Ain players around him. And then Bernardo Silva, lovely turn in field, a little reverse pass down the right hand side of the box for Nunez, who gets to the dead ball line, holds the ball up, can't get the cross in yet, twisting and turning and trying to make room to find space to get a cross in. Back it goes to just by the right hand corner of the penalty area. Nico Gonzalez back into square to Akanji, very patient from City here. And here is Nunez once more, level with the 18-yard line, right hand side, infield for Kusanov, and they work it back again to Akanji. And as Perry Groves rightly said, it's only really Echeverri who's making those little scurrying runs, trying to give an option on the move. Bernardo Silva now, right hand corner of the area, pirouetting neatly, still on his left foot. Nunez to his right, first time cross, comfortably headed away
at the back by Al Ain, and it will drift out of play for a throw. After all that build-up, they did finally put the ball in, headed clear quite comfortably. But City lead 1-0.
And I think Rabia, the Al Ain centre-half's got to pay to get back into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium dance. Just earlier, brilliant turn from Bernardo Silva, and then he put his owl head on. Great little reverse pass out to Nunes on the right-hand side. And Nunes, again, it's another opportunity. Put the ball in first time. Just whip the ball into the box. Then that gives Erling Haaland something to go and attack. But he doesn't. He cuts back. And that gives, again, the Al Ain back five that chance just to move out another 5 or 6 yards. And then Erling Haaland then has to sort of rejig himself to make another dart.
Ait Nouri on his Manchester City debut. Works the ball back into midfield. Echeverri, busy little player, tries to fire a pass out to Nunez, but Jasic slides in for Al Ain and puts it out of play for a throw. 20 minutes gone on TalkSport in the Club World Cup. Manchester City in control. Nearly 80% of the possession in this opening quarter is theirs. Nico Gonzalez out to Ait Nouri, level with the 18-yard line, left-hand side, tried to get the cross in, but it's deflected out of play for a throw on that far side, which Ait Nouri himself wants to take. And then down goes Echeverri, getting shoved in the back there, and the free kick given for Manchester City. And Echeverri looks like he's got socks that aren't socks. He's like a top half and then a bottom half that are separate to one another, and either side goes over the top of the shin pads.
Just to free up the calf muscles, that's what it is.
Well, it makes a change from cutting holes in the back with scissors, I suppose. Let's see what Manchester City can conjure up from this free kick. Tight to the left-hand touchline, midway point of the half. It's Bernardo Silva to take it. Lovely delivery, left-footed, just drifts over the head of Guardiol, who is closest to it, and it goes out of play for an Al Ain throw on their left-hand side that Facundo Zabala is going to take. 1-0 City.
Yeah, I think with the delivery there from Bernardo Silva left-hand side, he needs to be just whipping it in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. Just put it too far to the edge of the 18-yard box. Again, that enabled Al Ain to attack the ball. So Guardiola was the nearest to it, but he was actually running backwards. So just all these like small details, Dan, to know where Man City using it like a pre-season, and that's what happens in pre-season. Sometimes you don't get in the flow. Obviously it's a team that's not used to playing together, but there's been a couple of really sort of simple, easy passes, and we saw Nico Gonzalez get caught on the ball where Chadley went through and had a great shot, and it was saved by Ortega. So when they've been in possession, Al Ain, they've looked to get the ball forward very quickly.
And they lost it. Nassim Chadley brings it away, trying to release Rahimi down the right-hand side of the box. Sliding challenge from Akanji, puts it out for an Al Ain throw. And the side from the UAE work it back into their own half. And Yongwoo Park from South Korea just tucks it out to the right-hand side, and Niang. Ball downfield, was looking for Rahimi, but comfortably dealt with at the back and sent back to Stefan Ortega. Ederson played the first game in goal for Manchester City. There is, of course, another keeper now on the Manchester City books, Marcus Bettinelli, who cost, what, 500 grand after 4 years at Chelsea without many appearances to his name.
So is he taking
He's the new Scott Carson.
Exactly, the gloves of Scott Carson to be throw ball catch and the third goalkeeper, just telling Ortega and Ederson how brilliantly they're playing. Great save. Oh, well caught.
Fancy that gig?
I'd love a bit of throw ball catch, don't worry about that.
Matheus Nunes for Manchester City. Got away down the right-hand side from Zabala, but the cross-in was really too deep for everybody. But Ait Nouri does fantastically well to keep it in play on the far side. Now he's moving into the area. Oh, lovely skill, Ryan Ait Nouri. Goes down. No thought of a penalty. He certainly didn't appeal for one. And Al Ain survived. And it's out of play for a throw to the side from the UAE. But lovely skill from Ryan Ait Nouri to bamboozle one or two in those turquoise Al Ain shirts.
Yeah, he just does a little foot over his left foot. Jasic goes one way, looks like he's done his ACL, cuts inside him, and then he plants his foot, Ait Nouri, and it just gives way. It's like he had a roller skate on his right foot, and to be fair to him, he just got up straight away. I'm glad he didn't look down at the pitch though, because unless a mole's popped up or there's a sprint ahead, these pitches are absolutely perfect.
It's a lovely playing surface, and there will be World Cup games played in this venue next year, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, home of the Falcons. There will be a number of games played here. I think one round of 16 and one of the semi-finals is going to be played here too next year. Now it's going to be a free kick here for a foul on Matias Nunes by Facundo Zabala, because Nunes was goal side right at the edge of the area, and Zabala felt he had no option but to bundle his opponent over, and it's just a simple ball over the top from Josko Gvardiol, and it was a clear nudge by Zabala on Nunes, well spotted by the referee. 1-0 City.
It was a great ball from Gvardiol. It's like Patrick Mahomes' quarterback pass, just finds Nunes, who did really well, come in the blind side of Zabala.
Could it at least have done that with whoever the Atlanta Falcons quarterback is? Do you not know who that is? I don't.
No. Patrick Mahomes, I just thought, was the most well-known quarterback. That'll do. Oh, you was hoping I was going to say Tom Brady from your mob, wasn't it?
Well, could do, yeah. I was thinking more Joe Theismann from when I was about 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's on Sunday nights.
Yes.
American football back.
Well, here we are, Sunday night to Monday morning, and we're in an American football stadium, but it's our game, association football in the Club World Cup. And Manchester City, with 25 minutes gone, they're 1-0 up, and they've got a dangerous free kick opportunity here to the right of the D. Echeverri and Bernardo Silva are standing over this free kick. It favours the left foot of Bernardo Silva, I will say, but Echeverri looks very keen. There's a 5-man Alain wall. Keeper standing just to the right of centre. Echeverri goes for goal and finds the back of the net. What a super goal from Claudio Echeverri. His first goal for Manchester City, and it's a free kick par excellence for the former River Plate man, and it's 2-0 to Manchester City before the half hour.
Echeverri says, whatever Lionel Messi can do in this stadium, I can do better. Just a little bit further out. This time it's a right foot 5-man wall from Alain. Just whips it, bends it with pace over the wall. Isa, the Alain goalkeeper, again just rooted to the spot, doesn't even dive, just looks over his left shoulder as if to say, well, that's a really good free kick. And it doesn't actually go in right on the post dance, it goes in probably about yard and a half in. Again, you can question the goalkeeper, there's no foot movement for him whatsoever. It's like someone's tied his bootlaces together, but it's brilliantly executed from Echeverri. Fantastic technique from the young man to get his first goal.
Oh, and Haaland goes round the keeper as they win it back, tries to chip it into the back of the net, and it screws across the face of goal. And it could so easily have been 3-0 as Alain are falling apart here. Their kick-off, and Pep Guardiola, you'd think his side would 2-0 down rather than 2-0 up. Suddenly, Youngwood Park was dispossessed at the edge of his own penalty area by Haaland. He rounded the keeper, but in fairness to Isa, the keeper, you can look at for both goals. He did force Haaland wide, and he couldn't get the shot on target. 2-0.
Yeah, to be fair, Isa did quite well that time, but hand straight to Pep Guardiola, head in his hands, because he's looking at thinking a sharp, fully fit, fully focused Erling Haaland scores. He just goes by his Isa and then just rolls it into empty net. Just went a little bit too wide.
Only one goal in his last 5, remember, for Erling Haaland. 2-0 to Manchester City. 28 minutes gone on TalkSport in the Club World Cup. Goes out to Ryan Ait-Nouri, who's looked more than decent on his competitive debut for Pep's men. Kusanov with a diagonal ball into the area, looking for the run of Gundogan, who got the first goal, but Isa caught it well and fires it downfield. Out comes Ortega, the sweeper keeper, and heads it out of play for a throw from about 30 yards from goal.
I think Ortega was just getting a bit bored because Akandi has looked at him and say, why have you come that far out? The ball just come from their goalkeeper. You stay where you are, I'll just hand it back to you.
Alain in possession, but boy oh boy, they've got work to do now. Now it's with Nader trying to play the ball out to the right hand side. Mexican wave begins around the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta. And we are very near to the half hour being played. Manchester City in possession, 2-0 up. And it's with Nico Gonzalez. Out to Aït-Nouri left hand side, about 20 yards inside the Alain half. They're forced back to the halfway line, and there is a high press from Alain, but they play the ball all the way back to Ortega. And he'll play a quick 1-2 with Akanji and start play off again. Half an hour gone.
Just sloppy play from Radio Dance, because he's actually put the ball behind Nico Gonzalez. That enabled Al-Balushi to look like he was just going to get an interception. So I think the passing from Man City, as said before, has been a little bit off skew. And just looking at the stats dance, we've played half an hour and Man City have only had 2 shots on target and obviously scored 2 goals.
I guess you could say that's clinical. Aït-Nouri down the left hand side of the area, plays the ball across the face of goal, and Zabala puts it right for a corner, and he was 10 yards from his dead ball line when he turned it behind. He didn't get a shout from anybody around him to say, well look, you can control that and turn and get it clear. Corner to Manchester City, and they lead 2-0.
Well, there wasn't a lot of interest from Isa there at all, was there? Because he should have more communication with Zabala.
I see what you did there. Bernardo Silva with the corner, left-footed in-swinger for Manchester City. Up go the heads, off the post, and then headed over the bar on the rebound by Kusanov. Clutch of players who went up for a header on 6 yards. It clipped the outside of the far post. Was it Haaland who got the touch, or Gundogan? One of them did, but it ended up hitting the woodwork, and it was Gundogan. And then on the follow-up, it was Kusanov rather, with the Akanji who went for the rebound. Nobody managed to get it on target in the end. Stays 2-0.
There's a brilliant delivery from Bernardo Silva, just in swinging with his left foot, whipping it in. 3 Man City players attacked it, just come off the outside of the post, and Erling Haaland just looks at the minute a little bit sort of disinterested.
Here's Aït-Nouri, who looks anything but disinterested in these early stages of his Manchester City career. Out to the right hand side, Alain win it back. Run being made through the middle by Touré, but it might actually break to the edge of the area, but out comes Ortega. And for once he did have to be on his bike pretty quickly, because Al-Balushi was rushing in at him and they've collided. I think it was Al-Balushi's knee colliding with the top of Ortega's head, although Ortega's back on his feet, and eventually so too will Al-Balushi.
To be fair, Dance, when they're in possession, Alain have got the ball forward quite quickly. Al-Balushi and Brahimi are ones looking to get in behind. That's the second time there's been a collision between Ortega and Al-Balushi, and quite rightly Al-Balushi has every right to go for the ball. Ortega just gets there before him. We say just a little clash of knees, impact injury. We'll just be able to run it off.
33 minutes gone on Talk Sports. Sunday night to Monday morning. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you. The setting is the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. And our next live football from the Club World Cup is on Tuesday. Benfica against Bayern Munich is a 7:45 kickoff, and then Tunis against Chelsea on Wednesday in the early hours of Wednesday morning, 1 a.m. and then Manchester City's third game Thursday night, 7 p.m. UK time, against Juventus, and that is before the Women's Euros gets underway in early July. All of England's group stage games live on TalkSport from Switzerland. Touré for Alain, wins the ball left hand side, but he couldn't keep it in play, but it is an Alain throw. 2-0 to Manchester City, 12 minutes to half time.
That's again, that started from Nico Gonzalez, who dropped deep in between the three centre-halves to get the ball, which I don't think he needs to go there anyway, because obviously you've got your three centre-halves to play out from the back. He then runs into the centre midfield, tries to just ping it out to Ait Nouri on that left-hand side, and he pings it 4 yards in front of him, so Ait Nouri has to stretch. That enables Jasic then to go and get his tackle in, and then Man City have to go back another 10-15 yards. It's just like those, real small details, and players of this quality used to be able to, from the centre circle, pass it out to the left-hand side when you're under no pressure, 25-30 yards, straight to Ait Nouri's feet.
2-0 though, same as it was for Manchester City against Wydad after the 90-minute mark, and both those two goals came in the first half of that game. And that game was in Philadelphia just a few days ago. Juventus to come on Thursday, and that game as it stands is going to be essentially a battle for top spot in the group and potentially avoiding Real Madrid once the knockout stages get going. Here is Kusanov for Manchester City. Nunez tucks it back in field to Gonzalez, midway point of the Al Ain half. Ait Nouri has got Echeverri on his outside, drifts in field, plays a 1-2 with Gundogan, gets into the box, but cleared away quite comfortably and quite neatly by Al Ain in the end. But then in trying to get it up to halfway, Jasic is dispossessed, and down has gone Gundogan. I think he's caught the ball right in his chest, right in his sternum. It might have winded him. He might need a bit of treatment here. So play will stop. 10 minutes to half time. Manchester City 2, Al Ain 0 on TalkSport. Here's Perry Groves.
Really good defending from Youngwood Park, because this little give and go with Gundogan and Echeverri. Echeverri looked like he was going to get in that sort of inside left position, but Youngwood Park just made sure that he followed his run, just made to nip it off his toes. I love Man City's kit, by the way.
It's a throwback.
That was my Subutio kit back in the 70s.
It's Tony Book, it's
Dennis
Colin Bell, it's those players, isn't it? It's all white with a red and black sash that goes from the right shoulder to the left hip, and there's flashes of red and black on the side of the shorts as well. Yeah, it's a very, very classy change kit.
It's definitely 1970s Joe Corrigan.
Yeah, not going to complain about that.
They're just going over, they keep panning over to Pep Guardiola. I'm not saying that he's a sort of bundle of joy anyway on the touchline, but he just looks a little bit concerned, doesn't he? Just a little, every time they pan over to him, a bit disappointed. I'd say I think he'll be disappointed in Man City's passing.
Tell me all the games that you and I have done covering Manchester City, especially when we've been at the Etihad and we know how close he is, when he's ever looked particularly content with the way things are going. He is one of the hardest taskmasters on individual players and team shape and teamwork that I think I've ever seen. Nobody gets a moment of peace.
Do you know what, Dance? That's why there has to be a complete rehaul and overhaul of this Man City side, because at any job that you do, if your manager is that intense, after about 4 or 5 years, you've heard it all before anyway, and you think, I can just ease off a little bit.
Well,
so you have to have,
there's new backroom stuff in there as well now. Kolo Touré is part of Pep Guardiola's senior coaching staff now.
Well, so Alex Ferguson used to do it every 3 years, didn't he? Get a new number 2 in again, new voice, probably new coaching techniques, training techniques.
Back underway. Manchester City 2-0 up, 8 minutes to half time. Nunez on the far right hand side has to work the ball back towards the halfway line. Akanji just drifts away from Rahimi, finds Bernardo Silva, right wing, approaching the right hand corner of the penalty area, cuts in on his left, drills the ball across via a deflection. Good first touch from Ait Nouri, tucks it back infield to Gvardiol. Now the ball sent into the area looking for Nunez. Is he onside? Trying to head the ball down to keep it in place. Done brilliantly, Matheus Nunez, down by the corner flag, faced up by Zabala, who's on a yellow card for the push on Nunez a few moments ago. Akanji infield to Gvardiol, centre of the Al Ain half. Square ball to his right for Kusanov. Haaland waiting at the edge of the D. Ball goes into the feet of Gundogan, and then Nunez neatly finds Gvardiol and out to the left hand side for Manchester City and Ait Nouri. He was being crowded out by 2 Al Ain players. And the side from the UAE getting up to the halfway line. But in the end, Chadley couldn't get away from enough challenges. And now here come Manchester City on the counter. Haaland going through the middle. Bernardo Silva right-hand side. Slides it down the right-hand side of the box for Nunez, but he won't get the cross in yet. Again, two Al Ain players watching his every move. Down to the corner flag. And he loses out in the end. And then El Belushi trying to bring it away. He's clipped by Nunez. Free kick to Al Ain. 2-0 to Manchester City.
Do you know what? It's like when it gets into wide areas, Man City, it's like they're vampires. They just don't like crosses, do they? Because there's a chance there Nunez could have got it in first time. There's about 3 or 4 times on left-hand side Ait Nouri could get it in first time, and they keep checking back.
Well, they're not a side known for their crossing, really, Manchester City. That might change with Ait Nouri being on the side. You know, watching him at Wolves, he was far more likely to get balls into the box. 7 assists in the Premier League last season.
But to be fair to Ait Nouri, he has played exactly the same here for Man City what he did for Wolves. He doesn't look like he's overawed, you know. Obviously he's making his debut.
Yeah, looks very adept. Here is Haaland, centre of the Al Ain half. Wants the player 1-2 and get it back. Thunders into the area and drags his shot wide. That should have been 3-0. He played a lovely 1-2 with Nunez, I think it was. Thundered towards the edge of the area. But his right-footed shot was dragged wide of Isa's right-hand post. It was actually Bernardo Silva that gave it back to Haaland. But the shot was off target. 2-0 it stays.
Do you know what, Dance? He didn't really look like he had the conviction that he was going to score. I know it's on his unfavoured right foot, but it's brilliant play from Gundogan initially in the centre circle. Just flicks it into Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva just rolls it into his path. So Erling Haaland did it first time. And he's got to hit the target. I know he's got to go across Isa, but he must hit the target. With his right foot, he sort of half scuffed it, and it's rolled. Probably as soon as he hit it, we could tell that he wasn't going in. And I know it's obviously beginning of the season, but he just doesn't look 100% sharp.
He might be back in a stadium like this in America in a year's time, because Norway, I think, are very much on course to qualify for the World Cup in 2026. Ball's gone into the crowd and the young girl's kept hold of it.
Do they think they're playing baseball?
Baseball, yes. She's not letting it go.
I've got the ball. In baseball, obviously it goes in the crowd and you catch it, you keep the ball. It's not really the same in football.
No, but, well, she thinks it is. Who's going to take it off?
Exactly. Poor. She had Man City cap on. What's she, about 9 years of age?
And a very smug look on her face. I think she cradled this ball. 4 minutes to half-time. In fact, 3 minutes to half-time on TalkSport. Manchester City 2, Al Ain 0. Goals from Gundogan and a first for the club for Claudio Echeverri. A lovely free kick. Haaland's missed a decent opportunity to make it 3.
Well, actually, he missed 2, and he had one with a back pass from the kick-off. With his left foot, he should be going past Isa.
Sent back by Park to the goalkeeper, but poor touch from Toure in midfield for Al Ain. And so City have it back with Gundogan. Just tucks it back to Akanji in the centre circle.
It's a really strange thing with Erling Haaland. He set such high standards that last season he was nowhere near his best and still scored 31 goals.
Well, there's a number of Manchester City players who really didn't hit the heights that we would have expected. And Phil Foden was the headline maker a few days ago against Wydad. Goal and an assist. And that was after what had been a really tricky season for him. And I think he feels a bit of fresh invigoration, does Phil Foden, for the season to come, because he'll want to be back out in America in a year's time with his country. Yeah,
I think he would have had the world's smallest violin when Kevin De Bruyne was told, obviously, that he was surplus to requirements, because Phil Foden, again, some coaches, and obviously Pep Guardiola is one of the best coaches I've been, but some coaches try and make it too complicated, where Phil Foden has to play central, because he play him in the wide areas, he hasn't got the pace 1v1 to go past people.
Well, what has England got an embarrassment of riches of? Number 10s.
But whoever you decide to play in the 10 position, whether it's going to be Foden, whether it's going to be Eberechi Eze, is it going to be Jude Bellingham, play the best players in their best positions, and if it means that you have to leave players out without having to shoehorn them in, then tough.
Al Ain in possession inside their own half with Toure. Lovely touch, and he was just caught there by Kusanov, and it'll be a free kick for Al Ain with a minute to go in the first half on TalkSport. Manchester City 2-0 up.
Happy feet from Traore there, wasn't it? Just played a little 1-2 of himself, right foot onto left foot.
Ball over to the right hand side, looking for Jasic, but just a telescopic leg thrown up in the air by Ait Nouri, and he deflected the ball out of play. Just followed the flight of the ball really well, Ait Nouri.
Tell you what, I can actually feel my hamstring blood stretching a little bit there.
That tweaked mine watching that. But no danger for Ryan Ait Nouri. And now here come Manchester City in the last minute of the 45. Here is number 45, Kusanov. Tucks the ball in field for Nico Gonzalez.
It's been quite fluid actually when they're in possession.
Nunez up to Haaland, edge of the area, runs into a bit of traffic, kicks the ball, lays it off into midfield. Akanji will now pick it up, shovels it out to the right wing, and Bernardo Silva. 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time underway in Atlanta on TalkSport. Kusanov for the cross to the far post, and it's heading behind for a corner kick by Jasic, again under no real pressure. Ait Nouri was closest to him, but City have a corner and they're 2-0 up.
Again, it's just need better communication there from Issa, the Al Ain goalkeeper. You said Jasic's under no pressure whatsoever. He can actually bring that down on his chest. There's a ball from Kusanov overhit from the right hand side out to the left hand side, gives a necessary corner away for Man City on their left hand side,
which Gundogan will take eventually once the referees jogged into the 6-yard area to have a word with one or two about pushing and shoving. It's Nader and Husanov that he's looking at, who are pretending not to have their arms around one another, but we all know the truth. And Gundogan wants to take the corner, but he can see the pushing and shoving going on as well, and the referee's gone in to have a word with Rabia now, as well as Akanji, who are also getting ready for a Viennese waltz, it seems. In it comes finally from Gundogan, chipped to the 6-yard line. Akanji's gone down. You heard the cry from him, claiming that should have been a penalty. And as Al Ain tried to break, it's going to be a yellow card here for a Manchester City player. It's Ait Nouri who's been booked, preventing the break from 3 Al Ain players. And that was only just after Akanji felt he'd been manhandled to the turf for a penalty which wasn't given.
Yeah, I think it was Akanji just wrestling with Rabia. And then anywhere else in the pitch stance, that would be given as a free kick, but there will be a VAR check, which looks like it's over.
Ait Nouri gets a booking on his Manchester City debut for that challenge, preventing the Al Ain counter-attack. So we played 2 minutes of the minimum 3 that have been added on at the end of the first half on TalkSport in the Club World Cup. And in fact the referee is being sent to the video review area to look at that challenge on Akanji by Rami Rabia. He's got a chunk of his shirt. You can't see Akanji's number for the amount of shirt that Rabia's got in his left hand. He went down, and when the referee goes to the referee review area, we know what typically happens. Decision reversed.
100% it's going to be a penalty. I said anywhere else on the pitch it's a foul. Saying that it's like a Royal Rumble in there, and Rabia's got hold of Akanji's shirt. He actually got hold of his shirt with his left hand, and he's just put him to the ground with his right hand. This is 100% going to be a penalty. You can understand why the referee didn't give it, because he probably got the wrong angle. Does that now negate Ait Nouri's yellow card?
After on-field review, number 25, Al Ain hold inside penalty area. Final decision.
Penalty it is, confirmed on field by Mustafa Hall, but turn his mic off before anything else goes. There you go. So it is going to be a penalty for Manchester City, and as you rightly say, Perry Groves, the yellow card for Ryan Ait Nouri is now rescinded. Rabia's foul on Akanji, and Manchester City, with what will possibly be the last kick of the first half in Atlanta, have a chance to go 3-0 up.
down to just lazy defending. I've said all along, you know, when the defenders aren't actually facing the ball, they're more interested in the player. And 100% the VAR is Mohamed Ashur is 100% right.
So, Erling Haaland taking the responsibility. Only one goal in his last 5 appearances, and he's missed a couple of recent penalties too for Manchester City. He is now taking 4 or 5 very deliberate steps back from the ball on the spot. Up he steps, left-footed, sends the keeper the wrong way, puts it in the bottom right-hand corner. Haaland back on the goal trail, and Manchester City piling on the goals against the hapless Al Ain side. Pretty much half-time then. Manchester City 3, Al Ain 0.
Yep, it was a panic station from Rabia. Erling Haaland stepping up. He's had 2 big chances which he's missed. He was never ever going to miss the penalty. Looked very cool, very calm, very composed. That's what they call goalkeeper dependent. Just had a little stutter before he finally hit the ball. He waited for Isa just to commit himself to his right hand side, had a little look at him, then just rolled it to the left hand side. The goalkeeper sends him completely the wrong way. Man City will go in 3-0 at half time.
Well, I'm sure he'll be delighted with that. Erling Haaland, I guess we can call that 32 goals this season rather than his first goal of next season. But that is it for the first half in Atlanta, I think, pretty much. Thought the referee brought the half to a close there. Rabia was booked for his part in that penalty, and indeed the whistle has gone for half-time. And Erling Haaland has his first goal for a little while to help Manchester City put up a sizable lead at the break. Ilkay Gundogan's chip. Was it a cross? Was it a shot? Well, it drifted in at the far post on 8 minutes to give Manchester City an early lead. Claudio Echeverri with a lovely free kick for his first Manchester City goal, just shy of the half hour. And then right on half-time, Akanji fouled by Rabia, and the penalty efficiently slotted home by Erling Haaland to give us a half-time score here on TalkSport of Manchester City 3, Al Ain 0. Thank you, Paul. Well, certainly the Al Ain players are out, and here come the Manchester City players led by Pep Guardiola, who's striding across the pitch, because the tunnels, as they are in most NFL stadia, are at the far end rather than on the halfway line. It's a bit like Fulham, really. You've got to walk across the pitch to get to your subs benches.
No little cottage in the corner though.
No, there's that. I still love, there was that moment where, is it the Badger, the Fulham mascot, who was right in Avram Grant's face once when he was walking across, and Avram Grant, who I think was West Ham manager at the time, did not take kindly to this Badger being right in his face and giving him a load of grief. And Phil Foden is coming on at the start of the second half for Manchester City. A goal and an assist for him in that game against Wydad Casablanca, and a couple of changes for Al Ain. Palacios and Laba are coming on. Matias Palacios, an Argentinian attacking midfielder, and Kojo Laba, who scored 20 goals in the Pro League last season for Al Ain. 136 goals in 171 appearances. So those are the changes made. Rahimi and Nader are the players that have gone off for Al Ain, and it's Echeverri who scored Manchester City's second goal, who's made way for Foden. So like-for-like switches there, with Echeverri off, Foden on. Manchester City in their change strip of the white with the red and black sash from right shoulder to left hip, now attacking the goal to our left as we look 3-0 up. I'll run you through the 11 players in just a minute. But Manchester City are in possession around the edge of the Al Ain penalty area, but it's one back and cleared downfield, but only as far as Manuel Akanji. And Akanji will give it to his right for Husanov, and across for Gvardiol. Early ball for Ait Nouri, lovely touch to keep it away from the defender. Ball across the face of goal, and Haaland was running in on 6 yards, just couldn't get his foot around the defender and prod the ball home from close range. Lovely skill from Ryan Ait-Nouri, who's looked very much at home on his Manchester City debut. 3-0.
Yeah, brilliant play from Ait-Nouri on the left-hand side, just gets past Jasic, then takes another touch, then whips the ball across the 6-yard box. So Erling Haaland maybe just could have made his run a little bit earlier, get in front of the defender, couldn't quite get good purchase on it, but a really good cross from Ait-Nouri. Just looking at Alain dance, that Labo go up front, and Palacios will just come in central midfield area just to give him fresh legs in there.
And it's a former Basel attacking midfielder, Matías Palacios. Laba, as I mentioned, so many goals, 6 seasons he's had at Al Ain, 33 years of age now, and a very strong barrel-chested centre forward, much like Erling Haaland at the other end, who scored Manchester City's third right on half-time. So it's Ortega, Nunez, Kusanov, Akanji, Gvardiol, Gundogan, Nico Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Ait-Nouri and Haaland. Whilst for Al Ain, Issa the keeper, Niang, Rabia, Zabala, Toure, Chadley, Park, Yask, Palacios, or Jasic rather, Palacios, Al-Balushi and now Laba. And remember, Al Ain were beaten comfortably 5-0 by Juventus, and they scored 4 of those goals in the first half. As Matías Núñez tries to nutmeg Zabala down the right hand side, it's only half cleared by Al Ain. Plenty waiting for a cross for Manchester City, but it's gone back to the centre of the Al Ain half, and Gvardiol, lovely ball clipped out to the right hand side, and the quick feet of Bernardo Silva. Back it goes to Akanji by the centre circle, and Al Ain get their defensive shape of 5 at the back ready for the next attack. Back it goes infield to Gundogan, across to Gvardiol, midway point of the Al Ain half. 3 minutes gone in the second half. 3-0 to Manchester City if you're just tuning into Talk Sport.
Looking at Gvardiol dance, I said about Man City's passing being a little bit off in the first half. His passing has been excellent. There's been about 5.
Ait-Nouri again in the area, quick feet, gets the ball on his right and tried an ambitious drive, which I don't think was going on target. It smacked off the chest of an Al Ain defender and got clear. And Gvardiol so cleverly wins a corner off Jasic down this left hand side, got to the dead ball line, running at pace, just backheeled it against the defender, and Manchester City have a corner. 3-0 up.
Yeah, really good play from Ait-Nouri again on the left hand side. Little Michael flatly foot over, sends Jasic the wrong way, couldn't quite get his cross in, then Gvardiol does brilliantly, corner for Man City on the left hand side.
And Gundogan again waiting to take it, and once again there's the referee having to go in there and making sure it's Palacios, the recently introduced substitute, who's got arms all around Husanov, and Bernardo Silva saying, come on ref, keep your eyes open. Well, he did, in fairness, thanks to the referee review area for that penalty. Here comes the corner from Gundogan, up to the far post, away by Toure for Al Ain, but it'll just go out of play on the other side for another Manchester City corner, but this time Foden's going to go across the tape. 3-0.
Yeah, it was good defending from Toure and Laba at the far post, is making sure that they attack the ball. Decent delivery from Gundogan, missed the first man. Phil Foden take the corner for Man City on their right.
Swings it into the far post. Haaland goes up, Issa the keeper gets it clear, but there was a push on an Al Ain defender in the box. Free kick, and it was Foden's corner in the first game that led to Jeremy Doku putting Manchester City 2-0 up.
That's a good goalkeeping for a change from Issa there, because just a bit too floated from Phil Foden, and enabled Issa to come out just on the edge of his 6-yard box, get a good 2-fisted punch away. The referee decided that on the follow through from Haaland, he just a little foul.
Al Ain trying to get the ball clear. Laba, good layoff down the right hand side for Jasic. And now Nassim Chadli giving chase. Ball's back with Ortega. Gets the ball clear. The ball stuck right under his feet. And Chadli nearly took it right off his toe, admittedly from a tight angle. But Ortega did get it clear in the end, in credit to him.
As I said, as it come back from Guardiola, just a really poor touch on Ortega underneath his feet. That enabled Chadli to go and try and close him down.
Gundogan finds Ait Nouri. And now Guardiola on halfway trying to thread a pass through for Bernardo Silva. One back by Alain, but they couldn't get the ball too far downfield. But now Toure wins it and gets clattered by Ait Nouri. He's got to be careful. He was on a yellow card which was rescinded, so he's back to normal. But he could get himself a second yellow card. He wouldn't want a third.
But Toure did really well. They're just getting his body across Ait Nouri, making sure that he can't get to the ball.
Now ball played through, looking for the run of Toure, but just too far ahead of him. And again, Edison's starting position, Ortega rather, his starting position was so good that he could just run out to near the edge of his area and claim. And Ortega's bowled the ball out, and Foden now releases Nunez down the Manchester City right as they get towards the other end of the field. Foden again clips the ball in field for Bernardo Silva. Silva back out to Nunez, right hand side, space to cross it. In goes the cross, headed out at the back by Rabia. And then brought further clear by Alain. Back it goes to the left wing back Zabala, up to halfway. Neat touch finds Toure. It's better from Alain. Now it's with Youngwoo Park, the South Korean, playing it out to the right hand side. Chance for Jasic maybe to get a cross into the box, but he elects to go backwards a square instead.
Yeah, that's what happened, because Lubber had come back so deep to get involved in the build-up play. When it came out to that right-hand side to Jasic, he wants to whip the ball across 6-yard box. As he looked up, there wasn't one Alain playing in the 18-yard box. That's why he had to check back out again.
And then they try a diagonal ball to get Jasic away again down this near side, the right. Alain in their all turquoise strip this evening, but it's just drifted straight out of play on the floor for Ait Nouri to take the resulting throw.
Just looking at Man City defensively, just earlier you said that Traore obviously nearly got in, didn't he? It was a good starting position for Ortega. If Al Belushi, if his pass is better and better weighted, then Traore's actually in 1v1 against Ortega. So there's still these like sort of little gaps that keep appearing.
Yeah, little minor details, yeah, that will need ironing out. But the Premier League season, it's quite interesting this year, the way that the leagues start. They're staggered across 3 weeks. So the first Saturday in August, League 1 and League 2 get underway. The following Saturday, the Championship joins in, and then the Saturday after that is when the Premier League takes its bow.
And then you've got 3 games in the Premier League and then international break.
That's right. Here is Ait Nouri trying to volley the ball across the face of goal. Jasic's got a foot to it and turned it behind for a corner, but I'm not surprised that I'm impressed with Ait Nouri, but he has got to the pace of what Manchester City require of him supremely quickly.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball from Nico Gonzalez from the centre circle, just pinged it out to Ait Nouri. Brilliant first touch with his left foot, and then second one tried to volley it in, got blocked by Jasic. Corner for Man City on the left hand side.
To be taken by Gundogan, right footed, in swing it into the near post. Haaland went up for the header, but it was headed out instead by Rabia. And then anywhere will do from Nassim Chadli. Ortega now almost to the halfway line, desperate to get involved and have something to do.
It's like Man City are playing rush goalkeeper, isn't it? Or last man standing. Because Ortega's getting a little bit bored, end up in the centre circle.
Well, you can't take liberties like that every day of the week. Here's Foden, chucking it back towards the halfway line. Manuel Akanji, who seems to be the primary setup player. Now Gvardiol just drills the ball out to Bernardo Silva, who's hugging the near left-hand touchline for the moment, swapping flanks. Ait Nouri making a run down the left-hand side of the area, lets the ball run across his body, but that allows the Alain defenders, and Palacios in particular, to get themselves between man and ball and just earn a goal kick for Alain.
Well, to be fair, Palacios did really well there. Just made sure he followed one of Ait Nouri used his body really well, got himself in between Ait Nouri and the ball, let the ball just roll out for a goal kick.
11 minutes gone, second half. You're listening to TalkSport, the Club World Cup. Manchester City 3, Al Ain 0. All those goals coming in the first half through Gundogan Echeverri with his first for the club, and Haaland from the penalty spot. And Al Ain look to be heading for another scoreline. They will want to quickly dismiss. They will play Wydad in their final game, and that will be a chance for them to get some points and goals on the board.
Basically, that's just to be the best of the worst.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Here is Ryan Ait Nouri finding Foden on this near side. Lovely quick feet from Phil Foden. Tucked in field by Ait Nouri to Gvardiol. Ait Nouri again. Across it goes to Akanji in the centre of the Al Ain half. Drills a pass out to the right-hand side of Nunez. Knocks in field for Husanov. Now Akanji again. Short pass for Foden. And back it goes to Husanov. Out to the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva's back on that far side. The Manchester City captain. Drifts in field. Little over from one Manchester City player, thinking Foden could get onto it, but instead Al Ain win it back. Took it back to Toure and Niang at the edge of his own penalty area. And then Nassim Chadli goes cross-field. And that's a dreadful challenge by Kusanov on Zabala. Just clattered into him and stopped him getting downfield. Easy yellow card for the referee to administer there to Kusanov for Manchester City. 3-0 though the score.
It's a great first touch from Zabala, just coming it inside. And you said there, Kusanov, I think that is what you would call a reducer, where he's just gone in waist high with his foot. And I actually think Kusanov has got that in his game, Dance, unfortunately. Just like a little rush of blood where it's an unnecessary booking.
Gundogan playing the ball over the top, looking for Haaland. Important header clear from Niang. Good spring and got there to head it away, but they've given it away for a moment. Remember, Toure manages to get the ball back under control for Al Ain, and then they win a throw on this near side. Desperate to get a foothold in this game, Al Ain, but it's just not happening for them as we approach the hour mark on TalkSport.
This game was playing 15 minutes in this second half, and I don't think Man City have had a shot on target. A lot of possession, a lot of it's going sideways. They're fluid in their movement with Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. Obviously Nico Gonzalez is the one who's playing a lot deeper, but I'm looking at Phil Foden and he's actually going in the pocket just off of Erling Haaland and just asking for the ball about 3 or 4 times that Man City haven't rolled it into him, where that is where he's at his best.
That's the voice of Perry Groves, former Arsenal title winner, alongside me Ian Danter. Rodri's coming on in a minute for Manchester City. Just get some final instructions at the dugout area. So he'll be on in just a moment for Manchester City, who lead 3-0 as we approach the hour mark in Atlanta. Kusanov, who's just been booked, plays a short 1-2 with his captain Bernardo Silva. Now Foden gave it into the feet of Gundogan. Akanji picks the ball up again, centre of the Al Ain half. Just to his left is Gvardiol and Nico Gonzalez. Now a chance for Gundogan to turn, feeds it into the area. Nunez turns and volleys it wide. Lovely skill to set up the volley from Matheus Nunez as he suddenly swiveled and volleyed the ball goalwards, but it whistled wide at the post. Goal kick, 3-0.
Yeah, it's brilliant play from Nunez. Just takes it on his chest. Zabala's trying to get all over him, then he heads it past him, then as the ball drops down he swivels his right foot. Brilliant volley. We think it's going to nestle in Iceland's bottom right hand corner. Just goes agonisingly wide,
and it is going to be a change that sees Gonzalez and Kusanov go off, and not just Rodri coming on, but also Oscar Bob, the Norwegian, who not long back from a broken leg that curtailed anything he could achieve last season. But he is on So Gonzalez and Husanov off, Rodri and Bob on for Manchester City for the last half hour or so here on Talk Sport in the Club World Cup. And here is Rodri finding pace on the right hand side from Bernardo Silva. Bob getting involved straight away down the right hand side of the area. Lovely quick feet, lifted the ball into the area, just couldn't get it over the head of Rabiot because again Haaland was waiting, and that time there was a cross put in a bit earlier than we've been used to seeing so far tonight.
Really good play from Oscar Bob on that right hand side. Obviously natural left foot, it just came to him, had a little drag back, just went on the outside of Zabala, just tried to get his cross in, unfortunately hit Rabiot at the near post.
A couple of players coming off for Alain. Facundo Zabala, the left wing back, is going off, and that's going to allow Eric to come on, the Brazilian who didn't feature against Juve. And the other player coming on is the Paraguayan right-sided midfielder Kaku. Spent a few years playing in MLS with New York Red Bulls. So changes made by Vladimir Ivic. But it's 3-0 to Manchester City, and it's a long, long way back for Alain at this point. Diagonal ball, looking to seek out Ryan Ait-Nouri. Slightly heavy first touch this time from Ait-Nouri. Alain got it clear. Bit sloppy on halfway from Guardiola there for Manchester City. That allowed Alain to win the ball back, and then Alain give it away, and Foden suddenly sprinting down the left hand side, puts an early ball into the area. Haaland hits it straight at the keeper, and it puts the rebound wide, but I think that's a good save from Ice, who got quickly to his feet. Foden put the ball in from the left hand side, and Haaland somehow got to it first, hit it straight at the keeper, who got quickly to his feet to smother the rebound too.
Brilliant ball from Phil Foden on the left wing, his feet on the touchline, just had a little look inside, just made sure he whipped the ball right across the edge of the 18-yard box, and then Haaland made sure he got inside Rabiot with his right foot. Really good save from Iceland, low down to his left-hand side.
Kevin De Hoop. Manchester City 3, Alain 0.
The king is dead, long live the king.
Well, you were talking in the first half, Terry Groves, about Foden's need to grasp that opportunity that's his now that De Bruyne has gone off to play in Serie A.
Well, I'm just looking at his body language, Dan, because you saw the first game against Wydad, where he got his goal and his assist. He's come on here in this second half, and his runs have been really good, where he's making those little darting 5-6 yard runs just in front of Erling Haaland, because he wants to get the ball into feet. Every time he gets it, I've said before, he's got like an owl's head where he's on the swivel.
Alain win it back. Palacios up to halfway. Laba actually held it up quite well. Toure works it out to the left hand side, and a chance to put the ball into the area if Kaku can find a target. At the far post coming in was Jasic, but he couldn't control the volley from a very tight angle near the dead ball line, and it ends up merely being a goal kick for Manchester City. 64 minutes gone on Talk Sport. You're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talk Sport, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. You just sign up at DAZN.com. Ian Danto and Perry Groves with you for this Sunday night into Monday morning commentary from the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, which is respectively full, I have to tell you, this morning. We have seen some Club World Cup games with 2 men, a dog and a can of beans in attendance, but there's a few more than that today in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'd say it's about half full. And what happened, Dan, we said before, obviously, the group stages, people thought they'd be quite predictable, but you've had, 5 of the South American, Central American teams top of the group stages of those leagues, and the interest will really ramp up in the last 16. When it comes to the knockout stages, that's when it starts to get what you say proper serious football.
And Chelsea play Esperance Tunisia in the week. You'll hear that game live on the TalkSport network. and Bayern Munich against Benfica on Tuesday night, as the group stages shake themselves down. And of course we'll bring you regular commentaries throughout the rest of the Club World Cup and the Women's Euros that get underway next month in Switzerland. Big team going out to Switzerland: Adrian Durham, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, Tash Dowie, Joe Shannon, all going out there to Switzerland, and all the England games and some of the big ties in the Women's Euros live across the TalkSport network in July. And good luck to the Lionesses as they attempt to retain their trophy. Manchester City 3, Al Ain 0, 66 minutes gone. Here is Oscar Bob on as a second half substitute for City.
Yeah, just at Man City, Oscar Bob's gone on that sort of right wing back position, so that means Nunes has come a little bit more inside.
Here's Foden firing the ball across to Ait Nouri. Has to go back to Gvardiol under pressure from Jasic. And now Rodri, such an elegant looking player, Rodri. For somebody so tall and muscular, he just looks so serene and calm in possession.
Well, you mentioned about Craven Cottage earlier. Sort of last game of the season I was there and he was warming up, and I didn't realise how big I know he's probably about 6'3". He looked about 6'8".
Yeah.
Honestly, he looked like a man mountain, and you said as well.
It's like the first time I ever saw Tony Yeboah live, warming up for Leeds at St Andrews. Thighs like tree trunks, that man.
Shiny thighs.
Oh my goodness. What an athlete. Manchester City coming forward. Gundogan, who scored City's first, checking on his left-hand corner of the area. He finds Rodri. It's actually a poor pass from Rodri, giving it away needlessly there.
Oh, get him off. Is he all that, Rodri? But again, I know he's gone to go out to Nunes just on the right of him, but then it's gone behind him. Then Man City have to recycle the ball again, and it just stops the impetus of their attack.
Oscar Bob once again tucks the ball in field for Rodri. Short pass into Gundogan, 30 yards from goal. Finds Bernardo Silva, tried a little over, sensing that Ait Nouri was behind him. He was, but there was a deflection. Oh, great skill on the near touchline from Ait Nouri. Bernardo Silva, left-hand corner of the box, laid off by Foden to Gundogan. Bob's in plenty of space at the right-hand corner of the box, but they don't find him, and Al Ain win the ball back, and Laba brings it clear. And he's got Nassim Chadli making a strong run into the area. Chance maybe for a shot on goal here. Nassim Chadli, screws it wide. Great run from Nassim Chadli. He cut in from the right-hand side, made himself the space for the shot. Manchester City players lying on the turf in the penalty area, been sold dummies, but then the shot did not match the run. Goal kick, 3-0.
Really good build-up play from Al Ain on their right-hand side. Lava out to Nassim Chadli, just cuts in on his left foot. He goes inside Gvardiol, then goes inside Akanji, then just gets past the penalty spot, and all he's got to do is wrap his left foot around it. Couldn't execute it properly, ended up putting the ball high and wide over Ortega's crossbar. But just a little glimpse there, Dan, as well. Again, Man City being easy to break on. There's just too much gap between the back three and the midfield,
and that's not something unusual that we've seen in the last 8 or 9 months from Manchester City.
I think what happens, Dan, is that they've lost that air of invincibility. When teams are playing against, even Al Ain, they believe when they got possession that they can hurt Man City. They've had a couple of good chances. Chadley's had both the good chances where it was a good save from Ortega in the first half, and then he should be hitting the target there. So you feel when you're playing against Man City that they're going to give you a chance to still stay in the game, where before, when they were at their pomp, they would just completely kill games off, and you would feel that they was on a different level.
20 minutes to go in Atlanta on TalkSport. Going to be a double change in a moment for Manchester City. They're going to bring on Tijani Reinders in a minute, and also I think it's Ryan Cherki who's going to. It is indeed Ryan Cherki who's going to come on. So 2 more of the recent signings made by Pep Guardiola are going to get a few more minutes under their belt in the closing stages of this Club World Cup encounter. Bob Right hand side for City, approaching the 18-yard line. Knocks it in field. Rodri keeps it alive, keeps it working, works it back to Akanji. Akanji floats the ball back out to Oscar Bob on the right hand side. Eric is the man who's trying to keep his eye on him. Ball's lifted across to the left hand corner of the area where Ryan Nuri picks it up, finds Gundogan. Tucked back in field to Josko Gvardiol. Gvardiol with the cross deep to the far post. Bernardo Silva heads it back across goal, and Haaland heads it straight to the goalkeeper, and it stays 3-0 on TalkSport.
Yeah, he couldn't quite get a pressure on it, Erling Haaland. Really good knockback actually from Bernardo Silva, getting himself at the far post, knocking it back across the 6-yard box. Erling Haaland couldn't quite generate the power. Easy save from Isa. Just plucks it out like he's taking an apple off a tree.
Still waiting for those changes to be made. Reinders and Cherki waiting patiently on the near touchline, because here comes City again, and it's Bernardo Silva into the area. Gundogan takes a touch and flicks it home superbly for number 4, his second of the night. Manchester City's fourth, and Bernardo Silva set him up with a lovely reverse ball, and then Gundogan just drifted into the area, waited for the goalkeeper to commit, and flicked it home to seal Manchester City's safe passage through to the round of 16. Now, can they win the group? Man City 4, Al Ain 0.
Nice brilliant build-up play from Man City. Starts off from Rodri, just obviously playing again with that quarterback role where he just pings it out to Bernardo Silva, who's in that inside right position, takes a brilliant touch, then goes across, gets himself on the edge of the great little reverse pass. Gundogan comes in from the left-hand side, skips past Niang, then just as Isa comes out, just a little dink over him. Fantastic finish from Gundogan. That's Man City's best move of the game. Quality pass and all round from Rodri into Bernardo Silva, into Gundogan. Manchester City go 4-0 up.
And still just over a quarter of an hour to play in Atlanta. And the changes are now made by Pep Guardiola. So Messrs Reinders and Cherki are on. Cherki, as I mentioned, did okay, but not spectacularly well against Wydad. Also, Ruben Dias is coming on for Gvardiol, who I thought was just feeling the back of his thigh a couple of moments ago, the Croatian. And Ruben Dias has been given the captain's armband, because I think that means Bernardo Silva has gone off in that melee of substitutions. But certainly Gvardiol has gone off to allow Diaz to come on. Silva has gone off to allow Reinders to come on. And also Cherki is on. So 4-0 to Manchester City. And that means their goal difference is +6, but Juventus's is +8 before they meet on Thursday night.
You talk about Gvardiol, Dad. I actually think that you said he was feeling his hamstring. I think he did it when Chadley has his chance when he cut in from that right hand side. He was the last defender who tried to get to him, and he had like a stretch.
Yeah.
Then he got himself up, so probably just had a little tweak of his hamstring, nothing too silver.
So the ball is with Rodri in the centre circle. Just plays it to his right for Nunez. Reinders actually wasn't brought on in the end, it was just Cherki who was brought on, as well as Ruben Dias. Here's Foden, lovely ball round the corner, and now it's out to Ait Nuri, left hand side. Quick ball into the air, looking for the run of Foden, but that's well defended. Oh, and then a slip allows Foden to win it back for Manchester City. Rodri lays it back into midfield. Nunez spots Bob in a bit of space. Right hand side, 4 waiting for a cross. Laid off to the edge of the area. Nunez plays it deep to the far post. Gundogan's on a hat-trick, brings it down, lays it back for a shot from Ait Nuri that's blocked out to the edge of the area. Rodri bought himself a little bit of space, but the shot again was blocked at source. And it's brilliant football for Manchester City once again, but they just couldn't get that final shot away.
Dad, I think this last 14 minutes plus obviously added on time, just to be shooting factor for Man City, because Al Ain have just got a little bit fatigued, just dropping a little bit deeper and deeper. Nearly all 10 of their outfield players are only like 30-35 yards from their own goal.
Matteo Sanabria has just come on as well for Nassim Chadli, an Argentinian who came from the Lanús club in South America. Manchester City in possession, right hand side. Oscar Bob, chance to run at the left wing back, actually ran straight into the challenge of Zabala. And Al Ain have it back. Touré, neat turn to get away from Rodri. And then the ball clipped inside and Palacios drives it out to the inside right position. Jasic thought he could just get inside his man for a moment, but that's good defending from Ryan Ait-Nouri, back in that, well, almost a left back position rather than left wing back position, to tidy up for Manchester City, who lead 4-0 with 13 minutes to go here on TalkSport.
Yeah, Ait-Nouri found himself in uncharted territory there down Sydney, actually defending on the edge of his own 18-yard box with Jasic. I think at the end of the game, Jasic will have to have a massive ice bath, because he's been given a torrid time by Ait-Nouri on this left-hand side. And you say football's very basic, you have to win your individual battles. Then on this left-hand side for Man City, right-hand side for Al Ain, Ait-Nouri has absolutely rinsed poor Jasic.
I think he's been Wolves' secret weapon for a number of seasons. Can pop up with some important goals at times as well. Remember him scoring a winner for Wolves at Everton a couple of seasons ago. Absolutely critical at the time for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Very important player. Wolves very sorry to lose him, I'm sure, despite getting a hefty fee for Ait-Nouri, £31 million after over 150 appearances in the old gold and black.
Well, I think he flourished in Wolves.
On a chance for Manchester City to make it 5, shot straight at the keeper and then headed over the crossbar for a corner kick. Haaland worked the ball through to the edge of the area, but the shot was blocked. Corner taken quickly. Cherki rolls the ball back for Ait-Nouri. Infield it goes to Foden near the D, trying to lift it down the left hand side of the area for Gundogan. Back it goes to Ait-Nouri, first time ball headed out to the edge of the area. Bob trying to get there first, but instead it's Al Ain that get it clear, but Labo won't get anywhere near the ball that's rolled up to halfway. Akanji alert to the danger and tidied up.
Yeah, Man City knocking out the door again. Just a great little lofted pass from Phil Foden. Ait-Nouri getting his cross in, but just a plethora of bodies from Al Ain round their 6-yard box. To be fair to them, Dan, I actually think Al Ain have defended better tonight than what they did against Juventus when they got a big 5. They're actually putting their bodies on the line, but say fatigue is setting in, so they can't quite, they're just probably about a yard off.
And here's Foden finding Gundogan left hand side, level with the 18-yard line of the Al Ain box. Rodri works the ball into midfield. Akanji striding forward, works it out to Bob on the right hand side. Got 2 Al Ain defenders for company, one of them takes it off his toe. Touré will try and bring it clear for the side from the UAE. And that's quite neatly done by Al Ain. Floated out for Jasic on this near side, chest it down to Niang, but Niang sees he's got Ait-Nouri closing down the space, and it's rolled back by Park to his goalkeeper, who I thought for a moment was going to let Haaland take it off his toe, but not in the end. Ball played up to halfway, and the difference between Al Ain and Wydad is that Al Ain have only had 2 efforts on goal compared to the 12 that Wydad had, but here forward comes Eric inside the area. Oh, wasteful shot from Eric, and he thumps the turf in frustration inside the Manchester City penalty area. Played a 1-2, had it played back to him 10 yards from goal. Angle not too bad, but he lashed it horribly over the top. 4-0.
Yeah, Eric has just got himself underneath the ball, worked it really well. Al Ain out on that left hand side. When it comes into Eric onto his left foot again, it's just too easy for Al Ain to get on the edge of Man City's 18-yard box. Worst was out there, he should be hitting the target. just got himself underneath it, skied it high over Ortega's crossbar. It was more like a conversion from rugby rather than a shot on goal. Just that little bit of quality, obviously the difference in standards of both teams.
Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you on TalkSport. Paul Ross will be with you to take you through from 4 o'clock till 5, and then Sam Ellard with early breakfast, setting up TalkSport breakfast from 6 with Shabana Hearn and Troy Deeney in the chair this morning between 6 and 10. Less than 9 minutes to play in Atlanta. Manchester City far more comfortable this evening than they were in their opening group stage game, although there are still some bits of tinkering that need to be done defensively. They've got some defending to do here as the ball's worked into the area, but Foden calmly brings the ball clear, pirouettes on the ball just outside the D, finds Gundogan, and then it's tucked back by Ait Nouri to Ortega. Slightly lazy clearance from Ortega though, and then Niang just stepped away from a defender and drove it straight at Akanji, who caught it again, possibly in the unmentionables, and the referee just goes to check on the condition of the Swiss defender. I think it'll be just an uncontested drop ball for Manchester City when play restarts. 4-0 on TalkSport.
Yeah, just really again untidy play from Ortega as he clears back. Niang does brilliantly, just nips in, gets his shot away. Unfortunately for Akanji, it's him straight in the face. The referee, Mustafa Gorbal, quite understandably, obviously because of protocols of concussion head injuries, stops the game. They said that's uncontested drop ball, enables Man City to get themselves attacking on their right hand side.
And it is with Ryan Cherki right by the corner flag. Oh, lovely little swivel to get away from Eric the defender into the area. Cherki still has it, lays it back to Rodri, finds Bob in a bit of space in the area, right hand side. Oscar Bob makes it 5-0. Manchester City are really going through the gears here against Al Ain. Oscar Bob, the latest on the score sheet, found in space right hand side of the area, took his time, set himself on his left foot and drilled it home smartly to make it Manchester City 5, Al Ain 0. Round of 16, here they come.
No doubt that wasn't exactly Eric the Viking, was it, over in the corner flag, because Cherki's 1v1 with him, comes inside him, just barely brushes him. Eric goes down on the floor like he's been hit on the head with a lift. Then Cherki then rolls the ball out to Rodri. Rodri, great little first time pass into Oscar Bob. Cherki makes his run, takes all defenders away. Oscar Bob gets it onto his left foot. He gives Ice to the eyes. Looks like he's going to go across him on his right hand side, just whips it back with his left foot low down to Ice's left, gives the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Man City 5-0 up.
Less Eric the Viking, more Eric the half a B.
He definitely weren't a full B, I know that much.
Yeah, Eric was down, wasn't really caught that strongly, but
like that, it's embarrassing. Honestly, when you look like that, it's embarrassing, because you've got to defend, be strong, be big. When he's gone to the floor, open, he's going to get a free kick, and then he's embarrassed, he's got to stay on the floor. That enables then Cherki to come inside him. Al Ain are a man down in their defensive shape, and where do they score from? They score from where Eric should be on the left hand side, and so it comes to Oscar Bob,
who is in possession now for Manchester City with 5 minutes of normal time to play. And now only a goal behind Juve in terms of their goal difference. Manchester City, top spot will be important, I'll remind you, in this group. Here's Oscar Bob down the right side of the area, can't keep it in play at the dead ball line, and it'll be a goal kick to Al Ain, who are being beaten 5-0 for the second time in a row, as they were by Juventus a few days ago.
It's not through lack of effort, Dance. It's just lack of quality.
Yes.
They've give everything they've had, and the manager Vladimir Ivic, he can't ask any more, from this group of players. But they just on a completely different level from Man City. And so this isn't a really top Al Ain side either. So they come in fifth in their own domestic league, and in their own Champions League they played 8 games. They drew 2, lost 6.
Yeah, not the form that saw them win the AFC Champions League in the previous season, 23-24, which is how they qualified for this Club World Cup. Manchester City qualified by winning the 2023 UEFA Champions League. Here's Oscar Bob, who's just scored City's fifth, down the right-hand side of the penalty area. That's better defending from Eric that time. Stood his ground and won the ball back off Bob, and away goes Toure for Al Ain, but it just runs down a blind alley there and gives it away. And here come Manchester City. Haaland at the edge of the area trying to use his strength, but he's dispossessed. It was good work from Palacios to keep the ball away from the giant Haaland then.
Actually, Dan, obviously Palacios coming on at half-time, well, just a little bit into the second half. He's looked really good in that centre midfield. He's made himself busy, he's tried to get the ball, he's kept it ticking over.
Yeah, here he is again, finding Niang on the near side, bang on halfway. Lays it back to Park. And a square ball, which is then drilled downfield, looking for the run of Eric, trying to get in behind on the left-hand side, but he fouls his man. Oh, he's going to get a yellow card for surely fast, sarcastically applauding at the referee for giving the decision against. Might have got away with that actually, Eric. He has, no yellow card for that. Meantime, Phil Foden sprinting after a ball hit over the top, but he won't catch that up. It's gone behind for a goal kick. And we have just over 2 minutes of normal time to play in Atlanta. On TalkSport, Manchester City 5, Al Ain 0. Goal kick for Isa, and he'll play it short to his right and get it back and pass out straight to Ryan Cherki. Little over in the area, comes back to the edge of the box and drilled home by Ryan Cherki for his first Manchester City goal. That's number 6 on the night. That's +8 goal difference to go level with Juventus in Group G. And a lovely low, crisp drive from the new signing from Lyon to open his account for Manchester City. But that was all of Al Ain's own doing, giving the ball away cheaply. And then Cherki did little over, given back to him by Haaland. And what a cool finish from the edge of the area, 6-0.
Well, Isa saved the worst till last, Dance, because the Al Ain goalkeeper's got the ball in his 6-yard box. He just goes to pass it out. It looks like he's actually not bothered. He just gives the ball away straight away to Gundogan. Gundogan into Cherki. He said little over from Cherki. Brilliant awareness. Lets it roll to Erling Haaland. Great little layoff first time. Comes to Cherki with his right foot. Just reverse it back across Isa. Messes in the bottom of the net. 6-0 Man City.
Now Haaland's in the area. Brings the ball down. Lays it off to the left-hand side of the box. And Foden's denied by Isa, who blocks it with his legs right in front of goal. Suddenly the ball was brilliantly dinked over the top by the Manchester City midfield, and it ends up being a corner kick as Foden's denied by the legs of Isa.
Why doesn't Foden just put his laces through it, Dad? He's only 7 yards out. Great little first touch from Erling Haaland, and then just rolls it for a second touch into Foden. He just got to smash it past Isa.
Gundogan's corner onto the 6-yard line. Drops at the edge of the area for a Manchester City player. Does it? No, Nunez can't get a piece of it, so away will come Al Ain, but it's won back by Cherki, who's just scored that 6th goal for Pep Guardiola's men. Moving into 3 minutes of minimum added time on TalkSport, and Manchester City haven't stopped here. They fancy a 7th. Bob down the right hand side of the area. Foden just trying to roll his foot on the ball and get it away from a defender, but anywhere will do for Al Ain at the moment, just to get it away from their own 18-yard line, Terry Groves.
Yeah, I think I can hear the Al Ain players actually asking the referee how long, ref, how long, because I think they want the referee to blow the whistle and put them out their misery.
Foden finds Bob again, right-hand corner of the penalty area. Bob bringing the ball into the penalty area, goes down under minimal pressure. No penalty, says the referee. Man City trying to win it back, and yeah, the Al Ain players look absolutely shattered. Got very little left to give, but Foden still full of running. Tries to feed it down the right-hand side of the box for Bob. But that's well watched by Rabia. And it'll go behind for a goal kick to Al Ain, licking their wounds once again in this Club World Cup. And so Manchester City will stay second in the group because they have conceded, or rather they've only scored 8. Juventus have scored 9. So on goals for, Juventus still hold the whip hand. But a City win against Juve on Thursday, live on TalkSport, will see them top the group ahead of the knockout stages, which could be crucial.
Well, then there's the last game there between Real Madrid and RB Salzburg, isn't there, who wins that group?
Yep. Goal kick for Al Ain. Isa smacks it right-footed downfield, flicked on by Laba. He's had very little to feast upon as Laba in this second half, their top scorer from the Pro League this season. Really has fed off scraps. Ait Nouri, who's been excellent all night for Manchester City, finds Cherki, who gives it back to Ait Nouri, still full of running down the left-hand side, plays it back in field to Cherki, again for Ait Nouri, across the face of goal, and nobody there to tuck it away. Probably played a bit too fiercely across the face by Ryan Ait Nouri. Haaland was there, Foden was there, but neither could get near it. But lovely interplay between Ait Nouri and Cherki. Almost made it 7-0.
Yeah, I think Ait Nouri should be shooting down.
And here's Haaland finding Cherki, just couldn't get the ball under his spell inside the Al Ain penalty area. It is desperation stuff for Al Ain to stop it getting any worse than this.
Well, if this was a boxing match, Dance, then the corner would throw the towel in, because they've just taken a lot of punishment there, Al Ain. You can tell that they're running on treacle. Their legs are gone, their minds have gone.
Yeah, definitely desperate for the final whistle to go, which must be imminent. We've played the 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time. It's all about what the referee wants to add on for stoppages beyond the 3 minimum. And in fact, he brings the game to a close. Manchester City have beaten Al Ain by 6 goals to 0 in Atlanta to join Juventus on 6 points in the group ahead of their head-to-head clash on Thursday. And whoever wins that game will top Group G and most likely avoid Real Madrid in the knockout stages. It was 3-0 at half-time to Manchester City. Goals from Gundogan, Echeverri and a Haaland penalty. Gundogan got a second. Oscar Bob and Cherki the other goal scorers. Another chastening night for Al Ain in the Club World Cup. But Manchester City showed their class and quality and absolutely bulldozed their opponents. Juve will be a different test next, though, for their final group stage game. That is 10 wins in a row for Pep Guardiola in the Club World Cup. An extraordinary record he's maintained, with a final score of Manchester City 6, Al Ain 0.